Do you like confrontation? I certainly don't. I don't know where it comes from. I don't like it. It's something I've had to work on, and I'm getting better at it, but I don't know if I will ever be comfortable with it. The prophet Isaiah foretold of Jesus saying he will not shout or cry out or raise his voice in the streets. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. We can hear something like that and spiritualize our conflict avoidance. I'm just trying to be like Jesus, man. But gentle Jesus, meek and mild, isn't the whole picture. In a sense, Jesus was crucified not because he avoided confrontation, but he provoked it. He pursued confrontation with the religious and political leaders of his day. And we should be thankful that Jesus pursues conflict. It led to our salvation. The chapter following Jesus' resurrection, John 21, begins with the disciples. They're fishing on the Sea of Tiberias, and at Jesus' direction, what was a fruitless night of fishing becomes the miraculous catch of fish part 2. Throughout the Gospels, Peter is kind of a ready, fire, aim kind of guy. But here it is on full display. When Peter heard that it was the Lord on the shore, he put on his outer garments, for he was stripped for work, and he threw himself into the sea. Like he dove in and swam to shore. And as I was reading it this week, it almost seemed as if Peter was trying to prove something. And Peter had denied Jesus 3 times leading up to the crucifixion. We know the story. And now jumping into the sea fully clothed, even being the guy who drags the big net of fish to shore, it's like he's trying to say without having to say, Jesus, I'm still on your team. Rather than bite the bullet and bring up his failures, he's just trying to get past it. He's trying to brush it under the rug and in hopes that Jesus will too. You can almost picture him saying, Jesus, why don't you get some food? I'll finish up cooking for you. I'll clean up all the dishes too. And Jesus isn't playing that game. Jesus isn't conflict averse. And he knows what Peter really needs. Jesus knows that the loving and gracious thing is bringing up the problem, not pretending it doesn't exist. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said, you know that I love you. And Jesus said, feed my lambs. Again, Jesus said, Simon, son of John, do you love me? And he answered, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said, take care of my sheep. The 3rd time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? And Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the 3rd time, do you love me? He said, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my sheep. In Matthew 14, after Peter walks on water with Jesus and falls in, Jesus asked him, why did you doubt? In Mark 8, Jesus rebuked Peter saying, get behind me, Satan. But it's only here in verse 17 of chapter 21 when Jesus asks him the 3rd time, Peter, do you love me? That we're actually told about Peter's feelings. Peter was hurt. Now her response isn't, Jesus, couldn't you be more considerate? Jesus doesn't care about Peter's fragile self-esteem. He doesn't care. He's more concerned, this is important, he's more concerned about Peter being able to step into the role he was called and created for. What we see in this passage is that sometimes Jesus takes us back for us to move forward. Sometimes it's going to hurt before it heals. Sometimes the most gracious thing Jesus can do is not to deliver us from our greatest failures, but to sit with us in them. My encouragement for all of us this week is to ask Jesus, Lord, is there anything that you need to ask me? I'm all ears. Grace and peace, church.